Hello and welcome back to Wario Land 4. On the last episode, we began our Shard mode playthroughs. The Shard times of Wario Land continue into the Ruby Passage. And the Ruby Passage, we're going to have a grand old time, because if you'll remember, I had some difficulties with these Toge Robos, these spike robots. In that, I would typically have some difficulty with their head, because whenever they see you, they launch their head at you. But alternatively, also, you could potentially just jump on their head, and they're spikes, and they hurt, and it could go badly. Now that we have a total of 1 HP to begin the level with, it could have gone very badly for us, especially since there seems to be quite a high quantity of robots now. I was kind of beating around the bush there, but they have put a disgusting amount of robots into this level, because like I said in the last episode, I recorded up to the end of the Ruby Passage in Shard mode and then had the recording fail, so I was already well acquainted with the fact that they have put in a large amount of these robots to hamper our progress. There are a lot of them that we're going to have to be careful about. You know, just stuff like that happening. It's very easy to just suddenly run into one of their spike sides, because they are spiked from basically, well, almost every corner of their body is spiked, so you could very quickly end up in a scenario where we've blown through, like, what, 5 hearts, because we kept healing, but then we just kept losing the health all over again. Let's see if we can just go ahead and defeat that Totsuman. I almost called him a Togaman, which is not correct. Togamaru? Is that the spike Digimon? No, Togemon! That, I was putting Maru on the end, but Digimon end in Mon, and there's Digimon called Togemon, and I mean, if you've seen any of my past LPs, you know I'm a big Digimon boy, and by that I mean I'm just a big appreciator of Digimon Season 1, which maybe that's not fair to call me a Digimon boy. Season 2's fine, it's not as good as Season 1, and Season 3 is like actually good, and that's weird, whereas Season 1's just like a treat. The dub is exquisite and it's fun. And once again, I would like to remind you that this half of the LP, I'm not sure if it's fair to call it a half, because it is not technically half of the LP, but you know what I'm saying, this leg of the LP, very stream of consciousness-y. We're going to get up to some shenanigans, see where it takes us, and sometimes maybe Digimon, and whether Togamaru was the name of Togemon, will be topics that will be discussed as we continue. And man, we just need to kill one more enemy and we can get this this bleepy bleep to go away. Unfortunately, I think we've already... nope, there is one more Totsuman in the immediate area for us to take care of. Unfortunately for him, we had some invincibility frames protecting us from his charge, and we are now safe. So Robo-Birds, we talked about these guys in the hard mode video, but now you guys get to see them in all of their glory. They're just the bird enemies that were in basically every Wario Land game up to this point. In 2 and 3, they're just straight up birds that just dash at you. I mean, I guess there is variants. There's a variant of them, and that there's one that makes you dizzy and one that hurts you in Wario Land 3. And I dived all the way down here to grab this money, and for a hot second, you know, I thought it was just gone. But we are kind of in a bad place now because we have a lot more platforming to go. And to my knowledge, the Robo-Birds seem to be in the same locations they were previously in hard mode. And that they're just kind of placed around these carousel platforms to kind of trip you up in terms of your platforming. So I'll try and get the better of them, because we only have 1 hit point, so we got to be a little bit careful with it. I'm trying to get to this top platform so we can, you know, not worry about it. And I would love, absolutely adore, to go back for that one single blue crystal. But, you know, I don't want to get murked by these Robo-Birds. So there's that. That's kind of all they do. It's kind of an interesting enemy, you know, mostly just because it doesn't exist in normal mode, and it's easy to see why. You know, if you assume normal mode is, you know, normal mode is the easiest mode, so complicating platforming could be a problem for somebody who's like new to video game. Oops, and I did a very bad job. I wanted to do a little safety hop to stop the squishy from squishing me. But I just straight up just dropped the rock at that point, which was not great on my part, so I should probably just dash through here and then just do a charge throw and let things work out. So yes, normal mode being, the easiest mode, you want to tailor it for, not only first-time players, but potentially for, maybe someone who's never played a video game before, so complicating platforming any more than just, literally having to make the jumps that were presented in Wario Land 4, which, Wario Land 4 is not a hard platformer. In fact, it's almost feels weird slapping platformer on it at all, but it is technically a platformer, even though it almost feels more like a 2D side-scrolling adventure, just because platforming isn't such a strong focus. I mean, I say that, but then we have to platform up some conveyor belts, so maybe platformer is just fine and dandy, and maybe I'm just overcomplicating this game that I like and just going, no, it's more than just that, it's not just the Super Mario game. This is a Wario game. There is more than meets the eye here. And there is more than meets the eye here, as you've seen, There's a lot of game to love, and a lot of game you might not realize that you love as much as you do upon first glance. So there is that. But yes, the Robo-Birds, there isn't a terrible amount to say about them. It is interesting, though, and I've kind of hit this point home a couple times, but I'm just going to state it for emphasis, and also, just because something confusing is going to happen in this episode, because I'll state this next point in a moment, just so I don't deviate from this point too far, because I have kind of gone a little off the rails with this point up until this point. And by that I mean I'm trying to remember what I was trying to say. The Robo-Birds did not exist in normal mode, and in hard mode only exist in the Curious Factory. The emphasis on that statement might have kind of given away the kind of secret here, but we'll let that stew for a little bit. And also, I just do want to state once again, just for the record, and I'll try and not hammer this point, not hammer it home, but I'll try not to beat this dead statement with itself. It is its own dead horse that I'm beating it with. But this is going to be my first full playthrough of Shard mode. I had started a playthrough previously, did not complete it to my knowledge. I may have, but because I do not remember it, man, that went badly. This may as well be my first playthrough. I do know at the very least I got to Arrowed End. And also, since this episode's being recorded, I do have immediate knowledge and memories of how the Ruby passage goes in terms of Shard. And I just wanted to be upfront with that. So, past here, things are going to get a little rougher. Also in terms of, we have some rougher levels coming up in the Topaz passage. The Topazage, I said it one more time, and I'm going to say it again. You guys know I'm going to say it again. And in the Sapphire passage, just because, there's some rough stuff in there that once we hit, Shard levels of difficulty, we'll probably be doing like Oofa Doofas and the Hachi Machi Spicy. That did not go great. That little sad Torch Boy got the best of me, but maybe he deserved that, because those Torch Boys are really sad, and then on top of it, they're very easy to kill. They don't get their time in the spotlight very often, so good for that Torch Boy for inconveniencing me and serving his role as an enemy in this video game, and I would like to not die here. So we have a Gambit here, because I would love to murder all of these guys. Pick up the heart blobs. I think those are technically called little hearts. I saw it on the Mario Wiki while doing a research run for hard mode. The little blobs enemy drops, I believe they're called little hearts. But heart blobs, heart chunks, who cares? We got them, we healed, it's all good in the hood. Oh, oops, and I do not want to get caught on that carousel platform. That was probably a bigger oops than that deserved. Because, that cost us, maybe a second at best. And we're doing pretty good. I think we have, how many? Nope, that's not the pause button. Okay, we're only missing one jewel piece, which is super solid, because I believe the last jewel piece is in the place that it originally was, and that it's, at the end of this, passage. Actually, I don't think it was originally here, now that I think about it. Please jump, Wario. I was going to say that it's originally at the end of this, carousel, platform, platforming challenge that we have. And once again, the game is a platformer. I was just overcomplicating it. overcomplicating it with my brain, like how I just overcomplicated that jump by thinking of like, I like 3D chessed myself like out of that jump and like, oh, I need to like overcorrect, and then I was like, no, I need to like recorrect that, and then ended up just kind of jumping straight off of a platform instead of like platforming correctly. But we still have 45 seconds left to go, and I'm not going to do that thing where, you know, I've acknowledged the time and then I have to constantly go, oh, but it, you know, now it's this time. I'm not going to do that. You know, we have plenty of time to escape the level because this basically takes us to the exit of the level. I mean, I guess we still have like what, 2 or 3 more rooms to get out of, and now I've been smushed, which isn't great for the amount of time it'll take us to get out of here. But we have like 2,000 buffer coins, so even if we end up in you know, overtime. Oh, overtime's actually a good way to put that. I never thought about what to call, like, oh, you've run out of time, but overtime is actually really good just because you were literally over time. It's a very solid, easily understandable way to say you were over time, and I don't know why. I've just taken this, like, very simple concept as this big epiphany of you're over time, call it overtime, as you would literally anything else. But no, we had plenty of time to escape the level. As you saw, it's all good in the hood. Now, the toxic landfill. There's a lot of those spiky boys. That is something I think I meant to mention in the hard mode video, and that those spiky enemies actually get more prominently used than they did previously. Because if you remember in our normal mode playthrough, the only point where you see those spiky guys is the in Arabian Nights, in the room that enemies transform. When you go through a pipe, like initially you see those spiky boys, but then they become the mini Draculas. They're Minacula, but I don't exactly know how you would get off what you're supposed to you know, enunciate, because you know it's supposed to be a mini Dracula, but does it come out Minacula or Minicula, which doesn't sound right because you don't say Dracula. I mean, maybe that is a pronunciation somewhere. I guess I can't say for sure. But these spiky boys, and that they are just basically living versions of the spikes, and that you can kill them, not with Wario's punches, because Wario doesn't punch technically in this video game. He tackles. But you can't kill them because they're spiky, but you can kill them through means of like, oh, if I was transformed into Fat Wario and stepped on them. And actually, can I make this throw? Cool, I could. And actually, for a second there, I thought Wario was going to throw up because his head was looking up, which is, I believe I mentioned it last episode, the issues I've been having like with the controller D-pad. And I say believe because, you know, at this point I've re-recorded, you know, the first episode twice, and, you know, this is, you know, as I've said before, take 2 of this one, and I don't need this many rocks. We'll be solid. But, you know, the controller issue, I wasn't sure if Wario was actually going to throw the way I was holding the D-pad, but all good in the hood. And we probably didn't need to bother with this purple pipe puzzle room, because if you'll remember, the toxic landfill is just ripe with money to be had. And nope, oops, there's spoils that went for forlorn spoils. Those spoils are gone, which is fine, and will nicely dovetail into what I was saying before, that the toxic landfill just has, you know, it has a wealth, because it's money, of treasure for us to have, and we can go way over the amount that we require if we are diligent and check in for our money. So we should be good. I mean, we're like this early in the level and already have a third of what we need. We are very good. I'm just gonna be careful. Well, I was gonna say I didn't want to release the pet bottle, whatever the heck they are. I didn't want to release it, but hey, I guess it got out, so who cares? Something about those pet bottles also that bothered me. Earlier, when we entered the top of this room, there was 3 of them immediately, and they all come like back to back. Like, they just spawn like in a weird like PET/pet bottle. Like, they're like a rat king, like a bottle king. Like, it's really weird in that they spawn them that way, because like having them like in a row like that doesn't make them like much more difficult. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna jump over them regardless. Who cares? And I'm just gonna go ahead and take out all these goggly blades. And oyster boys, even though they don't have a lot of money to drop for us, but they have that little heart for us to consume and go ahead and gain some more hearts. I'm not gonna bother with all these guys because there is a lot of them. I say as yeah, there we go. I forewent 3 of them. That's pretty good. I feel good about that. And I almost just straight up jumped into that hole. And you know what, Apple Monkey? I could throw you into the water and end your pathetic apple throwing instead of dessert throwing life, but I'll spare you. So when Wario Land 7 never gets made, you'll know why. You'll know that, oh, I can't be throwing apples. Throwing apples is mad weak. I gotta make donuts and or cake, or maybe some kind of, I was about to say donuts again for some reason. You know, donuts, cake, or donuts. Those are your options. You know, just some kind of like proper dessert. Something that's like, I could see that go, yeah, that's fattening. That's good. Ooh, actually, like a cool like flavoring would be like that like I mean, like it wouldn't be like dessert, but a neat thing for like a fat Wario enemy, or enemy that transforms Wario into fat Wario, for them to throw would be like that that special like soup or whatever it is that that sumo wrestlers eat, so they get like super big. Like that'd be a neat thing, or a neat like kind of like flavoring for it to do, especially since Nintendo recently, like in the past few like Mario games, decided they like that kind of like Japanese aesthetic for levels. Like I'm trying to think, I think the first time they did it might have been 3D Land, but it might have been 3D World. But then they started doing like, you know, like, oh, like Captain Toad has like Japanese themed like kind of like puzzle rooms, and then, you know, obviously Mario Odyssey, you know, spoilers for Mario Odyssey, has a Japanese castle like themed area. So, you know, it's kind of a thing, you know. It'd be neat and thematically like work, especially, you know, Nintendo is a Japanese company, and could do that super well and cool. There wasn't much to that thought other than that'd just be a neat thing for a fat Wario enemy to throw at Wario. Although, you know, throwing soup at somebody is kind of maybe a harder thing to convey. And I mean, you know, you throw soup at someone, gotcha, but why does it end up in their mouth? Like, I mean, I guess we already have that problem with, like, you know, the apples. Like, Wario opens his mouth and accepts the apple into his mouth. He did that with the cake, he did that with the donuts. So, you know, how much more suspension of disbelief do you need for someone to sling some soup at our boy, and for, you know, for him to just go, yep, I should eat the soup that has been flung at me? Like, honestly, that's a pretty solid defense. If you have, like, you know, scalding hot soup thrown at you, for it to, like, land in your mouth. I mean, I guess if it's scalding, you know, then your mouth gets burned, and then, you know, it's kind of sensitive, but it's better than, like, getting burned all over, because I'm just going to make a shot in the dark, and your mouth seems to do fine after being scalded a couple times. Maybe your mouth is not immune to scalding. I'm not going to say that, because obviously it's not. You get scalded, and it's bad, but maybe your mouth just heals better. Maybe, like, the tissue in it is... trying to think of a word that's not regenerate, but regenerates, heals, you know, with less time, more frequently than, like, skin proper does. But also maybe, you know, I'm thinking, like, oh yeah, you know, that could just be normal, like, level burns, you know. You know, just normally, something that would burn your mouth. You know, if you pour it on your skin, maybe it would just be hot and not like, oop, we're entering a degree burn, like, territory. That was kind of an insane yarn of thought and how it unraveled, but I warned you guys, this is what you guys are getting yourself into. I mean, we're in the toxic landfill for you guys the second time. For me, I've lost count. It's you know, it's that weird, like, time travel thing where, like, the person's, like, completely forgone, and they're like, I don't even remember how long I've been here. Does it matter at this point? Maybe I'm just destined to play Wario Land 4 forever. Maybe that's just my life now. This LP is going to end up being infinite playthroughs of Wario Land 4. Where just, you know, I just keep coming back to it and extending the LP, and it never actually ends. That's not gonna be the case, but you know, here's our fun imaginative space where we are enjoying each other's company, making goofs, having laughs, using the Imaginatorium to its fullest, and just having a blast all around. And I didn't bother with that purple pipe puzzle room because we've already went over our not our limit, but our we've made our quota. That's the word I'm looking for. We've made our quota, so we don't need to harsh our mellow too much about you know, garnishing the most money as we can. As long as we have enough to escape the level with our 10K, we should be doing fine. I'm trying to think if there are any snags that could cause problems. with the escape in this level, and I don't really think there is too much of a one other than actually getting back to the vortex in the original room, because those spiky boys that I was talking about maybe a little too much at the beginning of this this level, you know, they're going to be problematic in trying to escape, and that they'll be, oh, apple monkey, nope, throw an apple at me, please. And this isn't helping the cause, but I want you to look at me. Please throw an apple at me, and please throw it right, because sometimes apple monkey's throws aren't too hot. But yeah, so spiky boys will be obstacles in our way out, and could I almost said could pose a threat, and I don't think those. I mean, maybe those spiky boys are, you know, well-renowned poets, authors, writers. You know, who am I to say that they're not? You know, they very well could be. Follow your dreams, spiky boys. Follow your dream. And man, now I really want to know what those enemies are called. Knowing this game and just kind of games in general, it's probably something boring, like they're literally just called Spike or Toge, and I just missed that jump entirely. Now please make me a bouncy boy, a springy Wario, so we can get back up here and do this ground pound correctly, because as we saw, I did a bad job by immediately hanging to the right after escaping this, and then we missed our thing. And we'll come in here and just so I could confirm to you guys that all there was in there was a heart. For some reason, it's just the weirdest room to me, because it feels like there should be more happening in there, but it really is just that is room for a single heart. And you know what? I'll take the damage because I wanted to get rid of that PET bottle. It seemed to be placed conveniently enough just to be in our way. We could have waited for it to make its return trip, but hey, we'll just tank the damage and deal. And let's go ahead and get back up here so we can get a heightened ground pound, so we can get through here faster, especially since we don't have to worry about those boys. And why the heck are you here? There's no way to become Springy Wario here. There's no way to get any like vertical clearance other than jumping off of the PET bottle, and there's not any platforms to be seen. So like, what's the deal with this area? Was that spike always there? And maybe these spikes were here previously, and I just don't remember it. I don't think they were, though. Boy, I'm going to have to remember to play back the tapes on this one. I'm looking over at my timer, so I could kind of have an idea of where I am in this episode, so I don't have to comb through the episode as much. But as you can see, we're running out of time. We have 5,000 coins. Okay, I'm going to chill. We're running out of time, and we're definitely going to have a problem. We're definitely going to go overtime here and start hemorrhaging money. But it's fine. It's going to be chill. It's going to be cool. I just got to avoid these boys. We can come up here and grab another heart because, hey, why not? It's here. And we'll go ahead and hop on down. We have 5,000 coins of leeway to go ahead and get back up there. So it's cool. It's good. We just got to be careful. And actually, sticking to the outskirts of this proved very beneficial to us, because in the failed recording, I'm not sure if it's fair. Yeah, it was a failed recording. It just had audio issues with it. In the failed recording, I ended up having a lot of trouble here. Was this episode? Yeah, I think it was this one. I think I might have gone under the limit and had to replay the episode. Replay the level, not the episode. I don't remember. I had a problem with yeah, I think it was a toxic landfill. I didn't get the full money because I ended up hemorrhaging too much money there at the end trying to escape. And 40 Below Fridge, I actually had to make the decision of, do I escape with 10k or go after the compact disc, because I got to this point in the level where you return with the compact disc, only had a single heart, was only slightly over 10k, so had I gone back for it, I would have had problems, because I ended up having a lot of problems trying to get out of that level with the post-fold segment where you run through and there's a bunch of the icy boys, Yetis, that's what they are in this. I was trying to remember because I was like, I wanted to say burrs, but they are not burrs in this game, and they're technically not burrs in Wario Land 3, but you know, maybe William Trennan wasn't on his best game that day. So, sorry, Bill. But you know, yeah, the Yeti boys, I had a lot of trouble in that area, so hopefully I can do better this I was gonna say this episode. I mean, technically, I hope I do better this episode, but you know, hopefully I do better this recording. And the recording that's in limbo, and I don't know why I came over here to check if there was something. I had literally just done that in the previous thing, but I guess my brain did it bad, and I forgot. And you know what? Oh, okay, never mind. I was gonna do a charge throw and just slam him into the wall to kill him rather than worrying about executing him with my sweet biceps. But it doesn't seem to be working out that way. I am being a little bit more cautious with this than I probably need to be, but with a single heart, you know, I figure better safe than sorry. It's kind of my thing, you know. It's a saying that I came up with, and it's mine. Patent pending. No, not even patent pending. I have the patent. No, I don't. I'm just a better safe than sorry kind of guy. I end up, you know, making a lot of like really, honestly, probably dumb at the point, like overly like cautious moves, especially when driving, because like low key, like cars kind of scare me. Not like I've mentioned the anxiety, so you know it's probably obvious. Oh, you know, like, oh yeah, you know, car anxiety, boom, those probably not two things that go great together, and I can assure you they're not. But yeah, I just, you know, I end up being like overly careful while driving, and sometimes we'll you know, wait like far too long to make a turn just to be absolutely sure that I can make the turn. You know, stuff like that. And I just end up being a better safe than sorry kind of boy. I was gonna say I hate like taking risks, but you know, I'm also that kind of sucker who's like, ooh, risk reward, yummy. I say that, but then it's like I'm trying to think in things whenever I am presented the option to be like risk reward, that I go for the riskier options. It's typically like the kind of thing that I'll do on like a repeat, like in terms of video games and risk reward, like on a repeat playthrough, like I might play something a bit riskier just for the shits and gigs. But I was actually, while saying that, I had been thinking of Dark Souls the entire time and that kind of thing. But now that I think about it, I tend to prefer the big stupid heavy weapons in that game, just because aesthetically I see a big stupid heavy weapon and go, yes, that weapon is very dumb and I enjoy it and I want to swing it around, over like, you know, the Dexy weapons. So I end up just kind of end up playing those games with like the not technically risk reward kind of like a spectrum, but you know, like, oh, I'm playing with this big hammer that, you know, kind of I have to make, well, I was gonna say more considered shots when I do make them, but you know, rather than like getting in there and like I'm gonna hit you 100 times, it's like I'm gonna, yeah, now I think about it, maybe it's not risk reward at all, and it is just a different play style, because you know, you could make an argument for both being a more careful, considered kind of play style. So yeah, that is just a matter of play style. It isn't a risk reward. Because in my head, what I was initially thinking was, oh yes, I am playing with this big heavy weapon where the risk reward is I don't get as many shots in, so I have to make them like count or whatever. But I'm not sure if that train of logic tracks at all. And you know, let's kill a boy with another boy. And I don't think this that way doesn't take us anywhere. Actually, wait, hold up. I did not go down as far as I thought I did. Nope. If you want to remember, and I did this in the failed recording too. If you remember in the normal mode playthrough, when we went through here, we accidentally handled this the most efficient way we could have potentially done it, and that like I went down right before the exit. Oops, I didn't want to kill you, but that's fine. We'll live with it. You know, I went down right before the exit, then dropped down to do the purple pipe puzzle room, completely out of just, it was a complete accident. It wasn't like, I didn't make a note about it or anything, like, oh, if I do it this way, then it'll be the best way I could have potentially done it. But, you know, it just kind of worked out that way, that we skipped the exit, then came down to the purple pipe puzzle room, got our keezer, and we're good. This time, it was a little bit of a shit show, but that's fine, you know, it's a maze. I guess it's technically a maze. It's not a great maze, but you know, technically, you know, you have optional paths, etc., etc. But you know, it all worked out. It's all good. We didn't spend too much time in this place, so let's go ahead and get a move on. Man, I do really enjoy 40 Below Fridge. Its music is very like nice. It's a very like good, calm, like ice theme music, where it's also not like ridiculously like chill. Like whenever you think of like ice theme levels, typically I think, oh yeah, like nice, calm, like serene music. But this you know, this music kind of bops. It's nice. I like it. And when I think of like when I think of like ice music, and this is also kind of a tangent, but once again, this is what you guys signed up for. When I think about ice music, like, in an area that does it really well, I think about like the original Paper Mario, because you get like very like nice, calm like musical tracks in the icy area. Shooting Star Summit? No, that's not what it's called. That's absolutely not. That's not the correct area. But the icy area, like leading up to the Ice Palace, or is it the Mirror Palace? I can't remember. The Crystal. Oh, it might be the Crystal Palace because the boss is the Crystal King. But I'm not 100% sure. Names aren't my forte, and I wanted to get off of this mesh fence wiring. And get the better of this Yeti, but I couldn't get off the stupid thing, and I want to do that so we don't have to worry about this this boy causing us any more trouble. And can I get off the... Nope, Wario just dropped down. That is not what I want. How did I actually do that? How did Wario... Because he had an animation of him, like, let it... Oh, in this game, to let go, you have to... in previous Wario Land games... Actually, was it the same? Yeah, you have to hold down and press B for Wario to actually let go. I bet it's the same on ladders. What the hell is happening? Why was he falling over? What was causing that? That was really weird. I'm not sure if that was a glitch or if there was, for some reason, the ice spawning and despawning started to kill him, which does not make any sense, but I'm not exactly certain what happened there. I'd never seen that happen. Oops, and I dodged the ice, but did not dodge the ice, so that was unfortunate. And, oh, nope, that's not going great at all. I would desire that heart, though, so... Man, those icicles have a hell of a range. Okay, here's what's gonna... Whew, I was gonna say, here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna get on there. I'm gonna crouch. Okay, I wanted to crouch jump over it, but that is not what is happening here, so if I can... This is a comedy of errors. Nothing is going right. Maybe I should just forego that heart, because at this point I've lost like 3 hearts trying to claim that 1 heart. But... I have not learned my lesson yet. I am going to continue on this perilous journey that I have tasked myself, and once this boy gets in range, I'm just going to jump up there and punch him in the face like that. So, I'm just going to sit here and chill for a moment, Yeti. I hope you can chill in your last few moments, because your life's over, because I handled that the smartest way I could have ever, and there were no problems there. You guys won't rat me out. You know, you guys are cool. You guys are chill. To keep making, you know, the very obvious ice jokes. And what happens if I let an icicle like spear me? Are they not gonna spawn now? I want an icicle to spear me while I'm Snowman Warrior. I'm just interested in what will happen. Will they bounce off of me? They don't seem to be spawning in though, which seems weird. You must be able to be hit with a icicle as... Okay, they just pass through you. That's interesting. That's not what I expected to happen. But oh, I actually... Ooh, this... I think we can return after we snowball up here. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it since we've already made it all the way over here. We'll just continue on our way up. Just because we had already accomplished the goal. There's no point in, like, foregoing our snowball and having to remake that perilous journey. And actually, I noticed something interesting while rolling that I had never noticed before, in that you can see that little hidden area that I'm not 100% sure I knew existed previous to like our normal mode playthrough when I accidentally discovered this. Like, I guess I would have had to know about it because I know I had played past this point when I'd done Shard before, and I'd done Hard before, and in both difficulty levels, the good thing, the jewel chest, is back there. So I had to have found it at some point, but I didn't know it existed. And my most recent playthroughs, which had all been like normal mode, like gearing up for the LP, because it wasn't until very recently actually that I decided, you know, I wanted to do like Shard. I want to do Shard mode on top of normal mode, and I also had I'd been like going back and okay, actually wait, no, that's not true. I was when I had originally conceived of LPing Wario Land 4, I was going to play it on Shard mode because I was like, oh, it'll be a cool, like, you know, kind of difficulty thing, kind of like the 3-heart Link to the Past run I did, that I had to cheat to do because you actually can't do a 3-heart run in that game since the game forces you to, was that the only Yeti? That's the only Yeti in the room, and the Yeti won't respawn, I don't think, unless they make an exception for this purple pipe puzzle room. So I may have screwed the pooch on this diamond. That's fine, because there should be enough money on the way out. And yep, there's no more Yetis in here. I don't think there's a way to do a Hail Mary jump into there, so whoops! 4 went like 900 coins. Well, I guess I was gonna say it was only 900 because I killed the Yeti, but technically I could always kill that Yeti after making the jump I wanted to make. Nothing stopping me for killing the Yeti after collecting the diamond. It's just a bit rude. But yes, when I originally conceived this LP, it was going to be like a super hard mode, you know, big fun challenge run, etc., etc. But then after reading Daniel Primed, and I think it's Primed because his real last name is Johnson, so I don't have to worry about it. Like, you know, oh, maybe it's Primed or maybe it's pronounced differently. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Primed, unless Primed is. I mean, I guess it could still technically be Primed. I don't know. I don't know, a damn thing, and you guys know it at this point. And something interesting there before, just to side track myself, something interesting I've noticed about enemies is a lot of enemies have a line of sight, you know, which that in and of itself is not, you know, a interesting thing to recognize or a particularly like new revelation. But enemies, despite having line of sight and there's a diamond over here, I guess, that you can only get to by rolling up here. I didn't realize that was a thing. I don't think I've ever found that before, so that's interesting. I did that badly because now I'm trying to get back on my train of thought. When I read the critical, what is it called? It's called Game Design Companion, a critical analysis of Wario Land 4. I believe that's the proper name of the book. I might have flubbed it a little bit. But that's why you guys love me, because I flub things. And maybe it's not. Maybe you guys don't love me, but that's fair. Both of those things I've just said are fair. And in fact, maybe be weirder to love me, but that's not a discussion that I think I am capable of discovering the answer to. So let's just sidetrack that one and never talk about it again. I mean, I guess we could talk about it again, but we don't really need to. When I read the book by Daniel Primed, I'm gonna stick with my gut and assume it's Primed. After reading it, I was like, yeah, you know what? This game, you know, I'd already kind of come around to the opinion that Wario Land 4, in fact, does rule. But, you know, I was like, oh, I should do this game, you know, because his discussion talks about this game in normal mode. So I was like, I should do this game right and show off, you know, all that normal mode has to go for it. Because there's a lot of, like, nice conveniences that normal mode gives you that, you know, they don't give you in, like, hard and shard mode to kind of up the difficulty. So I was like, oh yes, I should do this game. I should do this game right and present it in such a way that I have done a bad jump. You know, I show off normal mode the way the game was intended to be seen. But then at some point I was like, no, this game is actually the best, and we're going to exhaust everything this game has to show us. I am going to completely milk this game for everything it has going for it. Because, you know, it's my favorite Wario Land game, so it was time to give it all I had. So there's that. And I feel that there was an original point in there that I was trying to make that is completely gone. But, you know, that's fine. Maybe my reptile brain will remember it in the future. Who even knows? And Wario said no there, so for a second I was like, I should just not say it, not finish the sentence because Wario said it, but that's probably not a great train of thought here. And now here is where the difficulties begin, because we are now entering we've been in this hole just for a hot second, but we are now entering this part, and this part is where all of the difficulties were. I ended up doing this room like 3, maybe 4 times, just due to mess ups. So I'm actually going to go through here slowly and kill each one of these Yetis to make sure we don't have instances like that, because those Yetis are super good at like sensing your presence and blasting you with ice. And now that this guy's free, it's going to be a little difficult, but I believe we're good, all good in the hood. So there we go. We just got to clear out these Yetis, make sure things are a bit easier for. Ooh, and actually, I should have left that Yeti because these spike guys as I was saying earlier in the episode, you can actually kill them while being transformed. So leaving that Yeti there, allowing him to ice us, could have been beneficial to us. Unfortunately, the leftmost Yeti there was not positioned nicely for us. But there we go. We've cleared out all those Yetis. These Yetis are difficult because one wrong move and you have to repeat that entire room again. So I'm actually going to try and bait them into blasting ice in such a way that they either miss me so I can slip on by unimpeded, or you know, like blast them so when they blast me with ice, I'm not bothered. And now we can come back through here, break this block, and continue on our way, making our second pass through here. We only have 2,500 coins of leeway, so we may start hemorrhaging a little bit more money than I want. There is some 100 coins. Are those 100 coins or those 50s? I think those are 50 coins in those blocks that we could go after, but I don't think it's worth our time since we lose like 50 coins a second in the thing. So taking more than a second would not be beneficial to us in the long run to go ahead and go for it. And I think we're going to be good. We have 2,500 coins of leeway. We're about to pick up the thing and get another 5,000 coins, and that was super. That icicle is incredibly rude. That is, oof, very, very rude. Very, very rude. Oh, something I want to talk about. You might have noticed in this episode, in the previous episode, before I hit restart on the vortex, that there is a moment of hesitation where the game kind of like stops for a second. I'm not sure why the emulation does that, and I actually edited every single instance of that out of our normal mode playthrough to make sure I could present, normal mode the nicest that it could be presented. But I'm being super open with you guys about a lot of things that maybe I should keep as trade secrets, that kind of garbage. Yeah, that robot bird is positioned in a really weird spot where he's kind of sticking into the ground. But yes, for some reason in this emulation, the game hesitates sometimes on the vortex, and I'm not sure what the rhyme or reason behind it is. But I edited every single instance of it happening out of the normal mode playthrough, and now you know. So maybe when you go back and watch it again, maybe you can keep an eye out and see any editing mistakes I made, and you're not gonna find any because I did a great job. I did so good at editing. Which is, it always seems like there's at least one instance of where editing has completely failed me in an LP. Because I remember when I was LPing A Link to the Past. I died the exact same way again. Actually, I think the Spike Boy got me last time. I should come up with more names for enemies and calling them Spike Boys and stuff like that. Those weird Metal Moe Face Spike Boys. Nope, still call them Spike Boys. Metal Moe Face. Sure, why not? They're not technically Moe heads. They're just elongated rectangles like them. When I was playing A Link to the Past, I remember putting a lot of effort into the LP because I wanted it to be very good, because at the time I had considered it to maybe be my favorite Zelda game at the time of playing. There's a few games that have come out since then, and maybe my favorite Zelda list has changed. Talking about Zelda and Wario Land LP, great. But hey, it was my favorite Zelda game at the time. So I wanted to do it right, just kind of like how I did with this game. And where did that Totsuman go? I want to make sure he dies so we can have a easier time progressing in that upper layer, since we're gonna have to deal with the spikes from the Bad Metal Man. That's Bad Metal Man. That's the official enemy name. You're welcome, William Trennan. I'm not sure if he worked on this game. Actually, I wonder. I should probably pay attention during the credits for this game, because I'm interested in the localization behind it. Since there's so many instances of the enemies. Well, so many instances. The enemies went on their names went unchanged, so it's kind of interesting. I guess maybe there just wasn't much of a concern to name the enemies, other than a printed manual, which sometimes listed all of to a bunch of enemies in the game. Where are you going to see the names of enemies in this video? In the video game itself, nowhere. So it would have to be some kind of supplemental like material, like the manual, or potentially like a guide. But you know, Nintendo doesn't do their own guides, so if like Prima Guides or whoever the hell, I don't know. I think Prima Guides existed at this time. I don't know if they had such a bad a rap as I've heard that they had modern day. I don't know if they always had a bad rep or not. But you know, like if they were like, oh, this is Android Hellbird, you know, obviously they wouldn't call it Android Hellbird, but you know, if they were to call it that, like, who's gonna like come knocking on the door? Like, is Nintendo gonna go, no, that is not Android Hellbird? What are you saying? You know, they didn't localize it. Excuse me, they did localize the game, but they didn't localize the enemy name. But you know, you get what I'm saying. You know, I'm throwing down. So we've been in Pinball Zone for a hot second. Use the fast forward function on my controller, which I don't know if I talked about, but for some reason the 360 controller has a fast forward function mapped to it. Like I didn't set it up; it just came standard in the emulator I'm using. MGBA. I don't think I ever stated that, but I'm using MGBA. I used to use like Visual Boy Advance for Game Boy Advance stuff, and I can't even. Oh God, I can't remember the emulator I used for all the Game Boy and Game Boy Color games I did. I can't remember the name, and I feel bad about that because I like that emulator. Maybe I think I delete. No, I wouldn't have deleted it because sometimes you just got to go back and play a Game Boy game. You never know when you're going to need to do that. But I can't remember it off the top of my head. But I'm using MGBA now over Visual Boy Advance. I heard this one was very good, and it's treated me well for this game for the most part. Like I've said, you know, there was an emulation issue, like with the escaping the vortex, etc., etc. But Pinball Zone, we are in Pinball Zone, and I want to talk a little bit about Pinball Zone because I think I hate the Pinball Zone. Now, that's obviously editorializing a bit. I don't hate the level. I think it's a good. I do think it's a good level, but I do think it is my least favorite level in Wario Land 4. And some of that reason is just pure salt. It is kind of a long level. I don't entirely think the throwing pinball into slot is terribly interesting. It's not like bad. Like I'm not gonna go ahead and say, ooh, you know, throwing the pinballs into the acceptors. What a dumb thing. What a bad game mechanic or anything like that. I wouldn't go that far. But I think I don't know. I think it's my least favorite level. You know, the gimmick isn't terribly interesting. And let's dodge that bird using the new drop down thing that I'd been missing from this game for ages. But it's, you know, it's not a terribly interesting mechanic. It's not bad, but it's also kind of long. So it's just kind of ended up being like one that I'm not terribly pleased about. And some of that reason has to do with this LP in particular. Now, what am I saying? What I'm saying is okay, I had to play the game twice on hard mode. That is known. But I had to play Pinball Zone twice actually thrice in the first one, I believe. I'm not sure. Is thrice even a word? Not 100% sure on that. Nobody really knows. No one's really sure how English works, so it's fine. Thrice. Damn it. I had invincibility frames that stopped me from eating an apple, which is interesting. But also, I guess, to be expected. All right, but in hard mode. So in hard mode, I died while trying to escape, because in that first playthrough, like I had mentioned, I was just kind of rambling through and kind of, you know, devil may care attitude. Devil may care, my favorite PS2 game. You know, what a good joke I just made. But you know, devil may care attitude, just kind of running through, and I ended up being a little too careless and died on my way out. So I ended up having to replay it, and then I may have mentioned part of the story in the hard mode. So I died my first time through, but then I missed a chest because of that area in the hard mode video that I had mentioned missing out on. So in the first playthrough, I had to replay the level 3 times in the hard mode. And then comes the second playthrough of hard mode because of, you know, the shenanigans I'd already previously talked about. I ended up missing that stupid chest for 2 times in a row. I missed it. So ended up having to play the level again for that. And now, cut back to the failed recording of this video. so my shard playthrough, I ended up dying, I think. Yeah, I think I died on the way out. And then I played through the level again. And I missed the chest again. It's in the same location, but I missed it for the third time. For the third time, my stupid idiot brain didn't go, yeah, you should go pick up the thing. And the funny thing is, on the time that I died, I did pick it up. I picked it up then. But then on the pass through coming back, I remember looking at where the stupid chest is, looking at where it was, and I was going, oh, I'll pick it up on my way after I'll pick it up after doing something else. Which was an insane bad thought to have, because then I missed it and had to play the level 3 times for a shard, which then, as you guys know now, having to redo. So, Pinball Zone, not my favorite. Got some salt coursing through my veins about this level. So there's that. Just wanted to get that rant out because hot diggity damn. Wait, hold up. Wait, that was interesting. I wanted to ground pound on this thing, but I think it bounced me. What the hell was that? Yeah, that's interesting. It bounces me when I ground pound it. I can't properly. Yeah, Wario doesn't normally bounce like that when he ground pounds something. That's interesting. I wonder if it has to do with the fact that it's a moving platform. If there are any other moving platforms in the game, I should try ground pounding them. I think there's the carousel one, but I'm pretty sure if you ground pound on the carousel one, you just stay in place. I mean, I'm not 100% sure about that, but, or I should say stay in place relative to the carousel. But I have to try that on other, movable, can I roll through this? That'd be nice. I don't think there's the leeway to, be able to make the jump up there. Oh no, I have to try that on other things. But yes, Pinball Zone. Oh boy, it's my least favorite level by far in this video game that I like. But I do want to reiterate that I do think it's a fine level. I wouldn't say it's bad. It is my least favorite though. Also, a contributing factor to that is I think the music's kind of boring. Like the music's not bad, but you know, you kind of have this kind of like honky tonk, you know, early rock and roll thing on a very, very short loop, which makes the level just not all that interesting. How short the loop for the level is, or how short the musical loop is, and I am so close to starting a save state on this game because, oh man, I don't want to have to replay this stupid level again. I don't want to do it. I'm so done with this stupid level, and I almost let that bird get the best of me, but that's fine. It's fine, because the bird did not get the best of me. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to sit here, I'm going to be patient. I'm going to allow the patience to overtake me. I am going to murder this boy. I let the patience consume me, and now we're good, because now we're in this room, and it has a bunch of Yetis, and thanks to a little, I was about to say metagaming, but I guess it isn't technically metagaming, just knowledge having played this shard mode thing before. I do know that there is actually, if I can get a pinball without getting electrocuted to death trying to get up there, there is actually another heart container in this level, which is funny that they put 2 heart containers in this level. Well, actually, now I think about it, there was always the heart. Oh, actually, I shouldn't pick that up since we're about to go get a like a full like health heart container thing, because this heart container was always in this level, in this purple pipe puzzle room. So they probably just didn't modify the purple pipe puzzle room, but they added a additional heart container where the first chest previously was. And I believe it was also there in hard mode, now I think about it. Man, Dr. Aerostein, please work with me. Even though I think he's just Professor, because he's Hakase, and I think Hakase is definitely Professor. I just don't know if it doubles as Doctor. I don't know. I don't speak Japanese. I just know the weird bare minimum you pick up from watching anime for over a decade. So there's that. But yes, them putting 2 heart containers in this level, whether intentional or not, I greatly appreciate, because obviously I'm having some difficulties over here. But B, seems to like work with the fact that this level is, I want to say it's very long, but I'm not sure if it's very long, but it is definitely longer. I wanted to dash through here and kill these Yeti boys. but unfortunately I was carrying the pinball, which stopped me from both dashing into them, and also stopped me from platforming correctly over that electrical blast that was coming down. Because those electrical blasts, oh, that's something I should actually talk about that I probably should have talked about in the hard mode video. And I'm going to pick up this chest before I forget while I got my head on a swivel and remember this thing. No. Okay, I was about to say, ooh, we're missing one, but I think there is one more to come in the near future. I'm not going to panic just yet. I think we're still on track to collect all the jewel pieces. It's fine. It's good. It's cool. I'm going to go pick up that one heart that I forewent earlier, just in case, and luckily we did. But yes, those sparky electric creating thingies, and the bad metal face man. I don't remember what I called them. I could call them metal face, and then it'd be kind of like a slick like Xenoblade ref to that game that I've only watched someone LP and will never play because I'm not a big RPG boy, and that game the gameplay I think it's interesting when you like think about it in terms of the evolution of an RPG, like, oh, you know, you evolve the RPG and it becomes this. But it also becomes less interesting when you look at it and go, oh, this just has MMO gameplay, basically. But yes, those metal face things, more of them become active. Actually, I think all of them become active in hard mode, whereas in normal mode, some of them were just unactive. Unactive? Unactive, I'm gonna roll with it. Some of them are just unactive for more or less no rhyme or reason. I mean, obviously the rhyme or reason is what would make the level easier to play, and it's from like a purely like game design, like level design standpoint, as opposed to like, oh, here's like the pattern that tells you which ones are going to be off and which ones are going to be on, like something, you know, that simple. Whereas I believe in hard mode, they all turn on, and they're all on now. And man, that thing killed the bird, and is it? Oh my God, it's stuck now. Oh, okay. I was about to panic about that. Like the thing got stuck. What am I supposed to do? But you know, Wario can ground pound and knock things off of things. We had to do that in this level. So no, I shouldn't have panicked. Everything's good in the hood. Everything's not good in the hood. Actually, everything's going bad. I'm not gonna freaking jinx this by saying everything's good, because I said that multiple times and the failed recording, and here we are now. Oh my God, I just started to panic. Like, what if I didn't fix the audio problems? Because I'd fixed it for the previous recording, but then I just had a small panic. You know, not panic attack, obviously, but you know, small panic. Just not an attack, but a small panic that what I did to fix the audio wasn't permanent, but it was. I can see the audio being recorded now, so all good in the hood. And you know what? We're coming back to grab this 500 coin. I'll go ahead and collect that 100 crystal while we're at it. So I believe, and that's not the pause button. Okay, we're good. We got all 4 jewel pieces. And I just cracked my wrist there. I hope it didn't come up in the recording, because I understand that's probably gross for some people, and I try not to crack too much while playing games. But I have such a bad habit of just always just cracking like every single part of my body, because every single part of my body cracks. Just because. I don't know, it runs in my family, just a lot of her... Well, I say that runs in my family, but it's just my mom, so I'm not sure. My mom has very poppy bones, and I got very poppy bones as well. And on top of it, I got arthritis in the knees, so they pop extra, and it's not great. Learn how to squat correctly, please. Please do yourself a favor, and if you're gonna do a lot of squats, don't just trust your football coach. Learn how to squat correctly. This is your PSA from me, because honestly, when I think about it, maybe I could get a lawsuit going on my school. I'm not sure. I feel, you know, I'm an American. We sue for less than somebody not teaching you how to squat correctly and then getting arthritis. But, you know, it's in the past. I've been living with arthritis for... Oh, man, this is going to waste a lot of time. I've been living with arthritis for, like, basically since high school. So, you know, it's whatever. I'll deal. I'll deal. And... doing a lawsuit would be difficult, and that'd be time, and man, you know, it's probably not worth it. I mean, I guess like maybe if it was like buku bucks, it could be worth it, but you know, it's not worth it. Lawsuits are difficult, and you know, maybe my high school wasn't the greatest, and a lot of the staff at my high school wasn't great. I'm looking at you, lady who was my advisor all 4 years. She was a very bad lady, and I did not like her, and I could go on stories about how bad she was, but we're playing a video game here. But you know, schools have it rough. My mom's a school teacher. last thing a school needs is a lawsuit that'll come in and like destroy their funding even further. And also, I don't want to bother with a lawsuit. It sounds difficult. So here we are, Wario Land 4, talking about lawsuits, and the such. And did I ever show off that the item shop that things cost more now? I'm not sure if I did this last episode, but hey, in Super Hard, items now cost 200% double. I'm not sure why I said 200%, but they are double what they cost previously. Oh no! Did I forgo the free smiles in the last episode? I think I did. Oh man, I definitely think I did. Oh, I am a bad person, because I definitely did the free smiles and the failed recordings. There's your free smile for Spoiled Rotten. There's your free smile for Cactus. Hello there. That hello there made me feel like I made things right by correcting our free smile deficit. So there we go. I can't believe I forgot to do the free smile. Damn, I even took some free smiles while playing hard mode that were just for me, you know. I was recording, but you know, those free smiles were for me and me alone. It's not like I was editing all of them into there, like aside from the one that, you know, obviously made it into the recording with, you know, original Wario Land sound effects intact, no weird edits made whatsoever. Oh no, D-pad, why did you do that to me? My D-pad decided that Wario was going to crouch even though I was holding you know, perfectly right on it, but you know, whatever. And I'll take that damage because we need to you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and reset because I'm not feeling that run wasn't going well. Cuckoo Condor. So with Cactus, there was kind of a secret to beating him nicely, and I'm not sure if it's fair to count it as a secret, but you know, where you had to go off to the left of his head instead of the right, because then you can get back to his head and be in position to hurt him before he flies away, thus like opening the potential to one cycle him. Cuckoo Condor, there is no such secret other than, you know, obviously just stand under his claw to bait out his claw as often as you can. And also, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and reset on that one because I got caught and it was wasting our time. Two secrets to Cuckoo Condor. I'm not sure if it's fair to call them secrets. You know, you stand under his claw to bait out his claw as often as you can, and also to not forget that you can jump through the clock apparatus, like, body. Like, you know, like typically in games, if you bump into an enemy, you'll get hurt, but you'll pass through the clock body, even though it doesn't appear like you should or would be able to. So, like, I could just jump straight through that. Like, we don't have to worry about that. I can jump through that to avoid saw blades and electric saw blades. So there's that. But Cuckoo Condor is basically just all execution. There is no fancy tricks that we're going to be utilizing. Nothing of the sort. It's all b-ball, baby. And I missed that claw because I got too defensive on the saw blade, and we should probably just tank a few hits because honestly, you know, what's a few hits here and there? Because honestly, our biggest enemy here is the timer. I'm not too worried about dying two bosses in Shard. I mean, it could happen very easily. I mean, obviously, you saw me die in normal mode, so obviously, the potential to die is still here in Shard mode. It's not like I've suddenly just gotten better at the game and having less time has made me some kind of... Oh, I threw that egg the wrong direction. That's fine, because I'm going to chill out. And we're going to... chill out. Take a deep breath, and we're going to hammer him with an egg before the chest just... And the chest is... Oh, I died. I died. So, there's that. Hey, I said, you know, it was very well chance of me dying, and... It was entirely based on me just panicking there at the end. We were doing so well. I was so proud of myself, honestly, of like hammering him with eggs, because it was like, yes, this is how this fight goes. This is normally how I fight Cuckoo Condor. I just get behind him and just start hammering him with eggs with reckless abandon. Maybe not reckless abandon, but you know, normally I land my egg shots, and I don't know why. But in the past, for this LP, I just cannot land my stupid egg shots on Cuckoo Condor. Cuckoo Condor, for some reason I kind of slurred his name there. Her name? Their name? I don't know what gender Cuckoo Condor is. I have no way of and actually, I was trying to think about it, like, I started to have like a dumb thought, like, are all condors girls? Like a cow situation? And that was entirely driven by in Pokemon There's a condor vulture. What is the difference between condors and vultures? I don't know. There's a condor and vulture-y Pokemon that I believe is all female. And for some reason that thought just extended into real life and made me think, you know, is that the case? Because, you know, Miltank's all girls, and that's in line with how that species works. And let's get another egg. Please give me an egg. I would like it. Oh my god, that was 1 second away from disappearing. I stopped talking so I could concentrate, but then I started panicking more. But it all worked out. That's the end of the episode, which is perfect timing for me because I am very hungry. Very, very hungry. But hey, that went a lot better than the failed recording went. Because in the failed recording, you know, I messed up and the toxic landfill and had to replay it, and I had to replay 40 Below Fridge as well, which I had done off screen and then realized, hey, the recording didn't work. But that's it for this episode. We are done with the Ruby Passage, and we're only going to be moving into more difficult territory. I would say, with Pinball Zone gone, I feel a weight lifted off my chest, but we still have Aerodent, and honestly, Aerodent is probably going to be the boss I have the hardest time with. I mean, obviously the Golden Diva could potentially be harder, but who knows? And I just sat up in my chair, so my audio probably sounds a little weird there. But hey, that's the end of the episode. I am allowed to sit up in my chair at the end of the episode. That's just the law. See you guys next time for the Toe Passage. Green, red, green, red, green, red, green. Exit. I might have said green too early.